Saturday at Pocono Downs, Mohegan, Pennsylvania is Sun Stakes Saturday. What a day it's going to be. 14 races with a 1 o'clock post. They're pretty much all stakes races on the card. And if you see a QR code there, you can click it, and that'll give you some free PPs for the entire card, as well as full card analysis if you want more than just what Matt and I are going to talk about it, and live video. We're going to dig right into the $5,000 guaranteed pick four. That starts at the end of the card, races 11 to 14, and kicks off with the James Lynch Memorial. And this race features the number one horse in the country, Sylvia Hanover, Matt.
Yeah, and deservedly so, as she's undefeated, 6 for 6 this year, 14 for 15 lifetime with just 1 second place finish. And we'll look to keep it going. I don't think you're going to see 5 cents on the dollar like you've seen the last couple of races, when she was able to gut it out. But she is certainly a very deserving favorite going into this race, although it might not be as easy today.
One of the matchups in here that's pretty interesting is the fact that Twin B Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover, hook up again. The last time they hooked up was the Mistletoe Chalet, so we're going to take a look at that. It's also worth noting that Twin B Joe Fresh adds Lasix, and Twin B Joe Fresh is kind of bottled up. You see is the 2-horse here on the inside trying to get out, as Sylvia Hanover maybe has a little bit of a jump on her, Matt.
Yeah, Sylvia Hanover has a lot of a jump on her. As Twin B Joe Fresh had speed early and then got shuffled and buried along the rail, and you can see how much ground that she makes up in the lane and gaining on I guess you could say, wrapped up Sylvia Hanover, but that was certainly a solid effort, used both times in the mile, and was still coming at the end.
When you look at this race, I think most people are going to look at it as Twin B Fresh versus Joe Fresh versus Sylvia Hanover. There are a couple others in here. Sweet Amara was really good the last couple of starts, and Charleston's coming off a win. But I think for the pick four, at least, most people are going to key in on one of the 2 horses. And my theory was kind of to go with Twin B Joe Fresh because there'll be less money on that one. And Sylvia Hanover is trying a smaller track for the first time. She's never been on a track less than 7/8.
Well, listen, I have a feeling that a lot of the wise guys are going to be on Twin B Joe Fresh today, and I think the odds are going to be. I think he's going to be a major underlay, to be honest with you, as I think the odds differential between Twin B Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover are going to be narrowed significantly. I think you're looking at maybe like a 4 to 5, a 6 to 5 Twin B Joe Fresh, 3 to 5 Sylvia Hanover, with everyone else double digits. But I agree with you that everyone's going to be zeroing in on these 2 horses, and with no disrespect to the other horses, they basically, class-wise and accomplishment-wise, lay over the rest of this field. So they are the 2 headline horses, and it should be an interesting battle there.
Well, it'll be interesting certainly to see if Sylvia Hanover can remain undefeated on the year. But we're going to move on to race 12, which is the Max Hemp Memorial, for $300,000. And like the race before, where I guess Sylvia Hanover's the headliner, this race we have a headliner in Confederate. And last time we saw Confederate was in the Cane Pace. And boy, did he look good. We're going to take a look at that video and watch how he basically just demolished the field, including Christchurch and some others that are in here.
Yeah, much like he did in the Meadowlands Pace when he drew away with ease. Confederate relaxed early, kind of let the front end pace come to him, and then just draws away for fun. He's right now he's however many lengths he wins by in this race. That's how much better he is than the rest of the 3-year-old crop right now. And maybe it took a while for a 3-year-old to kind of rise above the rest. But yeah, he is the featured 3-year-old, the featured horse in this race. And despite the 2-to-1 morning line, you're probably looking at 1 to 5 or something like that, and a key on a lot of people's tickets.
Some people could say, like Sylvia Hanover, Confederate hasn't really been on a smaller track, at least certainly not this year. But he's certainly much handier and more manageable to drive than Sylvia is, and more willing to do what the driver wants, I would say, for sure. It'll be, I think, one of the key factors here is what Yannick Giwner does on Christchurch, because this horse is capable of going out and firing as fast as he can. And on the smaller track, you have to wonder if maybe they'll try like, hey, catch me if you can type tactics.
I mean, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And it's usually an effective strategy if you can blast out, secure the front end, and maybe once everyone steps behind you, catch a little breather, then blow out like a 26 third quarter, something down the backstretch. Try to get some separation, but I mean, it's a worthwhile tactic. I'm not convinced it's going to work, but anything to make Confederate work a little harder, I think, to get the job done is in everybody else's benefit in this race.
When Confederate won the Meadowlands Pace Elimination, I mean, one of the horses that everyone was keen in on was Stockade Sealster, who looked like maybe had a chance to win that race and ended up making a break. Now he's back in town after a couple of wins, picking up Hall of Fame driver Dave Miller. You see that horse waking up here?
I think the driver change is very interesting. We've seen Jody Jamieson, Canadian-based Jody Jamieson, driving this horse, basically the regular driver. Now we get Hall of Famer Dave Miller, who is probably more experienced over the Pocono Oval, and that's the main angle there. If you like Stockade Sealster, certainly is no slouch, and it would not surprise me if he stepped up, and he'd have to step up in a major way to be Confederate. But it could be some value underneath if you're looking to play exactas or tries.
We're going to move on to race number 13. It's the Earl Beal Jr. Memorial Trot for $300,000. And I think most would agree, at least on paper, this is the most wide open, group of the bunch. And, we could debate whether Celebrity Bambino would be the favorite or maybe Orwell, despite the 8-hole. But one of the things I don't think anyone could disagree with is Orwell put in one hell of a mile in the Hambletonian. We're going to take a look at that mile where, driver Tim Tetrick brings him first up and, battles right through the iron, just got beat by a fresh horse, Matt.
Yeah, he was first up for a long way into what was a very, very well-rated half. As we saw Celebrity Bambino go 56.5, which is, not too taxing for this type, but you see how Orwell is able to edge away and looks like he's going to be winner until about mid-stretch when you see Scott Zeron flying up the rail to upset. But I mean, it's just bad luck for Orwell. But I mean, it was certainly a winning effort, and I think he's a major player here, even from post 8, because you can't possibly think that Tim Tetrick's going to want to get away last year. He's going to have to leave the gate and look for a hole or some sort of improvements, because if he gets away 8, he's not going to win. But he despite post 8, he is, I think, the horse to beat here. And you might get okay value on him, considering the outside post and the other talent in this race, like Celebrity Bambino and Up Your Deo specifically.
Yeah, he's my top choice in here, Orwell is, and I'm hoping to get about 5-2, and I think that's possible just because he has the 8-0. I think Celebrity Bambino is going to take quite a bit of money. It's a horse that I'd want on my tickets. I think he just had a bad day on Hambo Day. It's unfortunate, but it happens. The one long shot I'm looking at in this race, long shot meaning maybe 6 or 8-1 or something like that, is Killmister. I felt like if you go back and watch that replay in the Hambletonian Elimination, he was completely blocked. Otherwise, he certainly would have been in the Hambletonian final. And then last time in the Muscle Hill, he just absolutely dominated, did all the work with a 54 and change half, 51 mile, certainly something that would have been competitive in the Hambletonian final. I think he's a player in here, what's probably going to be 4th choice.
Yeah, I would say probably definitely 4th choice behind Orwell, Up Your Deo, Celebrity Bambino. And yeah, you're right. In the Hambo elimination, he's trying to make the final out of post 10. He left, he got a good spot, and then I guess you take your chances from there. And unfortunately, it didn't work out as he had as much trot as others finishing there, but just had nowhere to show it. And like you said, he came back in the Muscle Hill, which is I guess it's an okay consolation prize. He did get the win on Hambletonian Day, and he did dominate. And it makes me see what kind of trip he gets here with Brian Sears, who is capable of working at any trip. But yeah, if I'm looking at a 3rd choice, I might rate him slightly ahead of Celebrity Bambino, possibly, who was really disappointing. We'll see if he can bounce back there.
And we're going to move on to race number 14, which is the $100,000 Always Be Mickey Invitational. We have a pretty good field of 8 lined up for this race. And, Stonebridge Helios or Allywag Hanover, which one is going to end up being the favorite come post time, Matt?
That's a tough call. I'm going to say Allywag Hanover, I think, just because he's kind of got a better reputation, maybe more name recognition as a top age pacer. And you like the almost equally as fast mile on Hamiltonian Day, but he did in the McKee as opposed to Stonebridge Helios just in an open. The key thing with Allywag Hanover is he hadn't hit the board in 5 starts prior to this race, and he just put it all together at the right time and blitzed a good field. And I think obviously he's trending upwards, and I do like him. I do like him a little bit better than Stonebridge Helios at this point in time. We're not saying those are the 2-horse match race, but these are the 2 most obvious choices, at this time coming into this race.
Well, we'll take a look at that McKee win for Allywag Hanover. And one thing I would note here, we see him right here pulling the pocket after a 120 and 2/5, 3/4. He had a perfect trip, Matt.
Yeah, but he worked out the perfect trip. It wasn't just like a lucky trip. He left swiftly. He yielded to the speedy, ruthless Hanover. Was able to slide out. I mean, that's a solid second move after being used hard, and he's drawn away. He's wrapped up here at the wire. So, yeah, it was a perfect trip. But Todd McCarthy created that perfect trip and had the horsepower to create the perfect trip.
I think it's hard to choose between the 2, and both of them will be on my pick 4 ticket. I'm going to lean towards Stonebridge Helios with my top pick because he looks so good on Hamiltonian Day. Granted, he didn't beat a tough field, but he looked really good, and he had missed a month of action for a barn that really wasn't racing that well. And there you see my my economy play on my pick 4 ticket there. We got a single Twin B Joe Fresh because I don't think you can use Twin B Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover. It just doesn't make any sense. You got to pick one. We're going to go with Confederate as a single in the hemp, and then we'll go 3 deep and 2 deep. And quite frankly, I would even consider throwing out Celebrity Bambino, the one in race 13, and just going 2 deep there and bringing it down to $2 so I can keep pace with Matt, who wanted to undercut me with his $2 ticket.
Yeah, you think $3 is a budget ticket. I got you beat with a $2 budget ticket. Listen, the sequence just came up. It's just the way this sequence played out. I'm in agreement with you. Twin B Joe Fresh. You figure this is the day she has a tactical edge, and this is the day she can defeat Sylvia Hanover. And like I said, I think she's going to take a ton of money into Sylvia Hanover. I think. But anyway, she's going to be my key. Confederate, unless you can point me to a horse that's going to step up to beat Confederates, I don't see it. So if I think he's a worthy key, although obviously there's no value there. Up Your Deo, who, he flattened a little bit in the Hamiltonian final, but I really did like that effort. After being leaving the gate hard to secure position, getting stuck on the rail, able to slide off the rail, come wide with a good rally. That was a strong second move before flattening. And Swanstead has some tactical options here. And the aforementioned OL, who, like said, is probably the horse to beat coming in by post 8. And I'm going to go Stonebridge Helios and Allywag Hanover, but more like you're going to lean on Stonebridge Helios. I think I'm going to lean on Allywag Hanover some more. So obviously it's a ticket that's not going to pay a ton, but going to play multiple times, obviously. And, it will be profitable, I think. Sometimes you got to take what they give you in a sequence, and they give us what looks like a chalky play, but you can make a decent profit on it.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't play a $5 pick 4. If you feel strongly about the numbers that are in there, it's no different than playing a $5 exacta or a $5 trifecta. You're going to take a shot with what they give you. Well, 14 races on the card, 1 o'clock post time. Remember, we have free PPs up on their website, drf.com/harness. You could also watch all the action live there. We'll have my full card analysis as well. Should be a great day of action. Good luck.